D.C., the capital of country music life. If you live to make the world a better place, we invite you to gather and co-create for 2 days. Day 1, meet curated, heartfelt influencers sharing strategies and innovation. Day 2 calls for conscious conversations. Lightworker power panelists discuss industry urgent topics. And for the first time, you requested, we co-created a third day, a 36-hour, ultra-private, closed-door Whisper Summit. We call it Afterglow, where 2 or more gather, featuring high-wattage leaders of light who share unpublished career advice and trade secrets. It all takes place in the luxurious Gaylord Opryland Hotel, where you may enjoy a full spa, poolside drinks, and tasty dining. And don't miss our Honky Tonk Sumper and Step Networking event happening Saturday night. Wear cowboy attire, feast, and learn astro secrets about you and cosmic allies. Consider this an invitation. Let us celebrate our ascension at the brightest gathering of love in the world. Ticket sales are open now at unitethelight.love. That's unitethelight.love. Hello, and welcome to Countdown to Unite the Light. We are 16 days away. That's a net 7. So today's a spiritual day, so to speak, till our event, a Lightworker Summit, basically, where we call for the people who care about making the world a better place. So we call you a Lightworker if you care about that. You think the whole world would be at this conference, hopefully, but there are some people who make a profession out of it. There's some people who make a hobby out of it, and some people make a life priority out of it. And we want to support all of you at Unite the Light. It's our 2nd annual year, by the way. It's in 16 days on May 17th and 18th. It's astrologically perfect because the sun will cross Uranus on that day, on the 18th, so that's going to be pretty powerful. And today we're going to introduce one of the panels. We're going to introduce one of the panels, and you meet one of the panelists. Now, this panel is called the Conscious Capitalism Panel. And this panel was here last year as well. This panel's objective is to bring spirituality into commerce, to bring spirituality into profiting. In fact, we think it should be spelled P-R-O-P-H-E-T when you profit. Right? We ought to profit and make money at the same time. The idea is that we can make the world a better place and we can do commerce at the same time. We can be more conscious about it. I think everyone would argue that this is something needed, whether it's filling landmines with things that could have been recycled to, using toxins in your product. People have been careless, and there just seems to be no real concern for human life, and this even at the Food and Drug Administration level. Okay, so it's clearly that our what do you call them? Basically, the important parts of government that monitor this have been captured by big business. That profit has come over people. That truth is not necessarily there when it comes to product labeling, such as poisons within the idea of natural flavors and things like that. And so we think every year we should have a panel about conscious capitalism because it's the rewriting of monopoly to solopoly. I was even talking about that earlier. It's like we have a game as a kid where it's called Monopoly, where you're going to monopolize and own everything. It's like we've been trained to be this kind of personality, this predatory business person, right? And we don't have to be that way. So this year we're subtitling this one to Being the Change. So the topic here is, how do you be that change? How do you be part of that change? How do we get that started when it comes to conscious capitalism? And so we assembled a panel. First of all, it's moderated by one of our own at Serious Joy. We should talk about that. And that is Daiki Okamoto. So Daiki Okamoto is going to be our moderator here. That's because I'm actually on the panel. I'll tell you why in a bit. But I obviously can't be both. And also Daiki's amazing because he's got a master's degree in science and chemistry with a focus on nanotechnology and photoactivated energy transfers. So literally nanotechnology and, making photons into power. So basically, the basis of light turning into power, which I think is brilliant. So he's perfect for that. And we know nanotechnology has become a little bit weird. But then his day job, he's an astrologer at Serious Joy and one of our greatest writers. He's on camera. He's also got his own Do Astrology brand that he does in his free time. So this is a perfect blend, I think, of science, right, and also spirituality and light. And we thought that sort of approach in life was necessary to moderate. And I should say at this moment that we are changing the panels this year to be moderated for many reasons. But what that means is that most of it is scripted in the sense that the questions will be considered beforehand, and the panelists will be led down certain questions. They will not be privy to the questions prior, so you'll get an authentic response. But the point is for things to run more efficiently in the panel and for us to all to get the most out of it. So Daiki's going to do a great job. Looking forward to that. He's also a Gemini, very qualified to communicate, right? All right. Our first panelist, though, that we've reached out to and who has agreed to attend is Lisa Brazelton. And she's actually been to Unite the Light. She's actually advertised Unite the Light. She's one of us. And here she is as a panelist this year. That tells you sort of how we promote from within, FYI. She calls herself a conscious architect, a strategist, and a profession. Her profession has focused on leadership, emotional intelligence, and organizational culture. And what she does is she brings ancient wisdom into modern science. A lot of her work is actually working with leaders, CEOs, etc., to help them bring consciousness into their authority, consciousness into their management of people, consciousness into their business strategies. So she's literally coaching old school business into light course business, so businesses that are involved in the light. And so we feel like this is awesome. She is a representative that's being the change in the sense of helping the personnel, the leadership, the styles of leadership, etc., to embrace these new ideas. And so infusing light into common capitalism is what we should probably call that. So I look forward to knowing Lisa and getting to know her even better. Our next panelist is Bree McLennan. Now, Bree also, for the record, is a long-term viewer and subscriber to Serious Joy. I've known her for quite a while. She lives in Australia, and so we've never met in person. And she'll be coming in via Zoom on this particular panelist. But she currently is basically our ethics of artificial intelligence speaker. So she's going to talk about the ethics of AI. She herself holds a gift for working with data and artificial intelligence. She finds unique and innovative ways in her own practice to bring human-centric and meaningful insights to her work and enlightenment. So she's, knowing her job, she's mostly worked for the Australian government, helping them reframe data and helping them watchdog AI. And so she is a, other government than the United States, official, which I think is important. I don't know if our government is necessarily clean of capitalistic, investments and what's the word, persuasion. So she represents, an outside look at the United States. B, she represents AI from a interesting perspective. That's one that's watchdogging it, not one that is actually creating it. And C, she's hired by a government to do so. So she brings an expertise there and a new original point of view about whether or not AI can go bad or go good, and her opinions on AI. And we feel it, this is something to watch out for, because in the world of conscious capitalism, it could become quite dark if computers took over the world, right? So we're looking forward to meeting with Bree and having her on the panel. The next person I'll bring up is myself. Excuse me. I'm the third panelist, and this is the one panel that I wanted to have a voice in because, Serious Joy and everything we've done serves to push this envelope of conscious capitalism. It's been a personal passion of mine for a long time. From very early age in college, I saw that capitalism can either create or destroy, depending on its intentions, and the power of capitalism, and how I think we should not go to another form of organization. We should make this form better and better. Now, I myself, if you don't know, I'm the founder of Serious Joy, which is a daily spiritual life coaching service that's based on astrology. So we life coach based on the soul, based on your astrology. I'm also the founder of Unite the Light, where I felt and was given the vision of bringing people together as part of my mission and bringing the light together. So you can see my motives in that regard. And I have to say, as far as being a visionary, I was the first astrologer on YouTube in 2006. So very early on, I imagined this world where we were speaking directly to people through online video. Now, with all that said, I'm coming on this panel because I'll be introducing Serious Joy in our latest capitalism enterprise, which is called Ad Intuitive. It's going to be an advertising agency that's based on people's astrological chart and matchmaking products to people. So the idea here is to advertise to people, not according to their demographic or how much money they make, but advertise to people based on their spiritual needs at the moment. So the advertising itself serves as a driving force of personal growth. So I'll be speaking to that. And I'm an example of building conscious businesses and how that goes. And then finally, our fourth panelist on this panel, someone who is pretty well known here among our ranks at Serious Joy and our light runners at the office. And this is Eric Hilali. And she is a transformative leader. She's also the author of Soul Capitalist, How to Take Back Your Power and Change the World. She's here to blend, deep experience in business and finance with her own spiritual insights. So she's very enlightened. She guides others to align their purpose with their profit and lead meaningful, empowered lives. So she's here to kind of help us understand, how does one become a conscious capitalist? How does one become empowered themselves and empower the world and also make money? So she's the how-to, if you will, of how to do it. And her book has recently come out. Now, as a super surprise here, we're happy to say that Erica is right here in the studio with us to talk about her presentation on the panel. Hello, Erica.
Hello, it's nice to see you.
It's nice to see you too. You're getting a lot of press these days. It's exciting.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you.
Yeah, we love it too. And first of all, let's talk a little bit about your book. And then, you in your book call this a soul capitalism. We call it conscious capitalism. I mean, how do you see a difference, if at all?
Yeah, so I think conscious capitalism is a step, right, from the regular predatory capitalism. A lot of us have seen that's exploitative. Conscious capitalism gets us being more conscious about our decisions, about the business that we're doing, about how we're spending our money. All of that is really important. We need to be conscious. Soul capitalism takes it a step further and really grounds it in our soul's purpose and our mission and our values. And then that alignment then takes it to the next level.
Well, you now it begs the question: what is the next level in your vision,
Yeah.
guys? Yeah.
My vision is that we're all in alignment, living our soul purpose. We're out there, whatever our soul purpose, we all have a mission here on earth. We're out there in the world, we're out there creating solutions, we're helping people. And really that's what's missing is the mechanism of capitalism, which you talked about a little bit earlier, is very efficient, right? Like you can bring solutions to market. It's the best way to do that, right? The problem is, what are the solutions we're bringing to market? A lot of them are not things that are actually helping or contributing to society's benefit. And so, if we're aligned with our soul purpose and our soul mission, and then we bring that out into the world, that's where we see this huge change and huge, amazing impact happen in the world. And I think we're right on the edge of it, and we get to decide, are we going to be part of the solution or just continue to be victims to the society that we're in?
And what you describe as a complicated equation as a man who's trying to do it. Because first of all, I mean, I have a business background too. I was pretty well educated on those terms versus the other average light worker, and still, there's a lot of challenges in trying to toe both lines, to be both profitable and to be both spiritual at the same time. And one of the problems I've always come up against is that people don't necessarily want to spend money on their spiritual growth. What are some challenges that you may have witnessed with people going down this path?
Yeah, I think a lot of people, there's a lot of money blocks people have around how do you, are you comfortable spending the money? Are you comfortable? Like they feel like, oh, if it's spiritual, I shouldn't have to spend money. It should be free. And, people have, everybody has to eat. Light workers have to eat too. We have bills to pay just like everybody else. And so I think it's time that we value ourselves enough to be like, yeah, this is like what I'm doing here is just as important, if not more important than, selling a widget or something like that that maybe has no meaning and isn't actually going to help anybody. So I think it's time that we really step into our worthiness and say we're worth having these businesses, we're worthy of abundance, we're our soul has unlimited creative potential, right? Like we can create everything that we want to create. And so that's really what this is movement and this book is about is like go out there and really create and go out there and make the world better. But you got to value yourself first. If you don't value yourself first, then it's just probably not going to happen.
Indeed. And I found too many people had great ideas to heal the world, but it didn't necessarily make a good profit, so it's a delicate balance. And I wonder why now? Why is this topic important now in this conference? Why is your book coming out now?
Yeah, so I think, we see a lot of fear in, and I'm really glad we have an AI panelist coming as well. There's a lot of like disruptive technology happening in the market. We're seeing disruptive political policies. There's a lot of economic turmoil, and a lot of people will retreat in fear. And so we're seeing a lot of fear in the economy. We're seeing people really scared, and they're like, we're not sure what's going to happen. We're not sure what we're supposed to do. And so this is really the roadmap for, okay, you can sit there and be in fear and be a victim to the system, or you're going to step into your power and say, you know what, I want to make a difference. I'm going to go out there and be all I can be and make the world better. Now, can one person alone solve all the problems? Probably not. But if all of us collectively come together, we unite the light, we do it together, then that's where we make a movement, we make a revolution, and we have a much better world to give to our kids and future kids and for ourselves too. Like we want to live in a better world too.
Totally. It's always self-centered, and selfish. Like I want the world to be happy. I want everyone to be joyful, walking around with smiles on their face. I really want that. That's the world I want to be in, So
Exactly.
Totally, and that's the way. And I feel, in speaking to you, coming together. That's my next question. Like, why do we come together? I feel I want to add to that, if I may, is just the idea that I found that businesses, that do good, like Tom's toothpaste, for instance, was a toothpaste that was no fluoride among all of their products. Get bought by Tollgate now, Colgate, and only one of their products has no fluoride. So I feel like
Mhm.
even if you were extreme success like Tom's, where you create this huge brand, you're a light worker, you have tons of money, still the big guys, the big companies can still come in, bully you out of your business. And who's going to come to your aid when that happens? Who do you call if you're being attacked by a business that just wants to devour you and spit you to the side and go back to the fluoride agenda? And to us, to me, that's why we have to come together. We have got to be ready to respond as a unison, a unified voice.
Absolutely. And as consumers, if we pool our resources together, there's a lot of power in that. If instead of buying the brands that are not living up to the integrity of practices that we want them to live up to, if we're putting our money with people that are aligned, that are in, doing the good work that we want them to do, that is hugely powerful. Like they're able to, grow their reach, have a bigger impact. That helps everybody. And then their employees can also buy your products as well. So there's a lot of power in this community of soul capitalism that we want to build together, where we can support each other, we can collaborate. There could be different partnerships and brand deals you do. There could be even just, hey, I am a consumer too. I want to be able to buy a product that I actually believe in. There's a huge deficit of trust too, like even as consumers. So if we can build this community together where we trust each other, we all are making this positive impact together.
Mhm.
That's hugely powerful. And even if we're only at 80% of the way there, that's way better than what we have now. So like
Mhm.
we got to make progress, and we got to is it ever going to be perfect? No, like perfection isn't the goal. It's progress is the goal. Are we making it better incrementally over time?
I concur. It seems like in our culture of America, I can't speak for the world, that the only businesses that do good are nonprofit. It's like you have to be a
Mm,
nonprofit to do good, and that means you're basically, that tells you that, oh, goods don't make money. Like good
yeah.
companies don't make money. Good companies give it away. Good companies don't pay taxes either. That'll be they're like, oh, good job, no taxes. But like quite often though, you find nonprofits abused by big corporations funneling money. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
and it's a biatch to get that damn thing set up in the first place. Probably the hardest application for a business you can imagine. But the idea is like, why would we cut off the profit? Why, if you're good, would you end the profiting? You know?
Well, yeah, and I think that that's something that we're coming to now where um, we can have both. I think there's this misconception that you have to choose one or the other. You really don't. You can have both. You can have profit and be doing good. And here's the thing, the more money that your business makes, the more impact you can make, the more people you can hire, the more. If you do want to give charity, you can give charity, or you could just give discounts to your customers and say, hey, I can now charge less. And that gets my product out to even more people, right? So we are in this time where when you are in that position and you have that money, you have a huge advantage in terms of the impact you can make and the change that you can make in the world. But if you're sitting there in a position of money is evil, and I'm never gonna, like, if I have money I'll never get what I want, then that's not going to have the impact that you want in the world, and you're not going to make any real change.
Yeah, it's interesting that way. And if you can, me, I mean, Serious Joy's, main mantra was like to make spiritual growth profitable. That was our goal. It's always been our goal to make a lot of money on people growing spiritually. The idea was hopefully people will copy us, compete with us, and do better. Like to get that fire going in that direction, right?
For
And so,
sure.
yeah, and so there's a lot. Your book probably goes in all this, I'm sure, and whatnot. But what about the moral ground? That's one thing I'll just say and question. I've never asked you this question, but how do you create a moral choice? How do you make the moral really right choice? What system, right? Because everyone's different religions, everyone has
Mhm.
different faiths, and yet you want to sort of, in a way, empower business to be kind of like what a church would do. Only church is a bad word these days. So, what would you recommend as far as what morals are, what guide we use?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a great point. And I think as a 29 Libra, the 29 is like, that's a question I ask myself a lot as far as how do we stay in integrity? And I don't think it is an external system. I think it's you as an individual have to have that inner compass of integrity and being like, does this company align with my values or not? And my book is really about, the first part of my book is really about you getting into that inner work and being very much what is my inner compass? What is my inner integrity? Because honestly, what's yours may be slightly different than mine. Maybe they're 95% the same, but there might be 5% difference, right? That's okay. That's what makes you you and me, and that's fine. But I can guarantee that me going to your
Oh, wow. Something
high
happened.
aligned
Sorry, say
situation, then
we lost you for a second, but now you're back. Oh, I think she's experiencing a little bit of a delay. So yeah, we have some weird solar flare things going on or something, folks. We were a little late to market just for that reason, but she was on a good point there, and I'll just add to it and just roll with this, and that's the sense of she was saying that those choices have to be made within us as far as what is conscious and what is not, or what is good or what is not, and I completely concur. And I, at our we're going to have a bit of a summit there. We'll be talking about these things. That more to come, more announcements to come about what's going to happen in Unite the Light, but one of the things I want to bring to point is just that I feel personally we have to use the concept of love. I feel love is a concept that everyone understands. You may not understand what evil is. You may have a line for where evil is. But you ask anyone in any language, any country, anywhere in the world, what is love? We were probably mostly aligned as far as a culture to species along that word than anything. So something we'll throw in the hopper there to talk about. So with that said, we want to invite you to Unite the Light. Whether you're there literally in person or you're there via streaming, we have tickets now available for both. We still have seats available on the floor. Come be a part of this Congress of Light we're creating. Come be a part of this discussion and conversation we're having. We feel like this discussion is incredibly important right now. And given where the country is, the United States anyways, I can't speak for the world, given the fears I've seen in my brothers and sisters of Canada and your recent election and how you've been afraid and terrified of your next leader and what that might be, the time is now. The astrology says it too. We must come together now. This will be the window before there are, any kind of laws for separation, before there are any laws that could oppress. Like we right now have the freedom to come together. We need to now. And so I'll be putting out some messages in this week to talk about that in addition. But more great things coming from Unite the Light. We hope to see you there, friends, either literally digitally or in person. Remember, you can get tickets right now at unitethelight.love, unitethelight.love. Until tomorrow, know that I love you, and we're in this together. Live, love, be.